Welcome to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio, where we challenge the fitness between your ears. I'm your host, Tiaja. You know, there's so much confusion going on in the world right now surrounding this pandemic. Even medical science seems to be confounded. Yet it is from this sea of ambiguity that our elected officials are taking their marching orders. Here in California, it has been a roller coaster ride of opening and shutdowns. I'm dating myself for sure, but it reminds me of the schoolyard game we used to play as kids called Red Light, Green Light, or Simon Says. For all you millennials and above out there, just Google it. And if you listen to the mainstream media, it feels like a full court press is taking place, doesn't it? Everything seems to be about COVID-19. Every commercial, every talk show, every sporting event, there is no escaping it. Then there's the projected new reality once you turn the TV off, right? One need only to take a trip to or through their neighborhood to see what I'm talking about. Or maybe you don't even have to travel that far. Just take a look out your window or in the mirror. What do you see? Do you notice any changes in the behavior or attitudes of your neighbors since the inception of this pandemic? Have you noticed any changes in you? Are you more cynical, intemperate, bitter, depressed? Do you seem to have less energy to do the things that used to make you happy? Or have you stopped doing them because what's the point? Because now your heart has been flooded with indifference and hopelessness, like you're numb. Is that your new normal? Just don't feel anything? You know, I want to share something with you about you that you may have forgotten before COVID-19. Have you ever heard of the Toltecs? They were an indigenous population that flourished in Mexico before the Aztecs. And there's a term the Toltec people use called domestication. Now, of course, when we think of domestication, we immediately think of animals, perhaps farm animals more specifically. However, when the Toltec people used that expression, they were referring to the world of ideas and beliefs, even dreams we accept and embrace as our own. Thus, we are domesticated when we lose the ability to think independently for ourselves. So let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer honestly. In life, are you where you want to be? That is, are you living the life you dream for yourself, or are you living someone else's dream? Now, according to the Toltecs, there is also the dream of the planet, or the collective dream we are all having. The dream of the planet is the sum total of all our personal dreams, and together they make up the world in which we live. So together we have created the oceans, the mountains, the flowers, the wars, the technology, the concepts of good and bad, all of it. The dream of the planet is the universal collection of our personal dreams, and it forms the basis for how we interact and communicate with one another. You know, there are two kinds of innocence in this world. There's the innocence that is the absence of something, and then there is innocence that is the presence of something. We say children are innocent because they have not fully experienced life, so childlike innocence is the absence of something. In the ancient tradition of Buddhism, when Siddhartha, later Buddha, renounced his palatial estate in order to find the meaning of life, he became a pauper, which is to say he gave up his worldly riches and possessions in exchange for his lifelong quest to discover his true self. So let me ask you, do you know who you are? Oh, you do? Awesome. Okay, then who are you? Did you know that you were born to solve a problem, indeed to be someone else's miracle? Have you ever had a complete stranger walk up to you or email or call and tell you that you saved their life, that you were a miracle to them? If you haven't, don't feel bad. You're not a bad person or have lived a failed life, but perhaps there is more work for you to do because someone is counting on you to be their miracle. Let me ask you, can you think of someone, anyone who has fulfilled that role in your life? A parent, a teacher, a pastor, a friend, a sibling? Speaking of parents and families, we all have some level or degree of dysfunction in our families. Wouldn't you agree? I don't know you, but what I do know is that you haven't arrived at your true destination, that is your destiny yet. Well, how do I know that? Well, I know it because the world is filled with way too many problems. And remember, you were born to be a solution to a problem. However, remembering who you are requires a deep introspection and homework from within. It requires a degree of self-mastery. Not perfection, but mastery. Do you realize that whatever aspect of your life you fail to master, the world will master it for you? Whether relational, social, physical, spiritual, financial, the world will master it for you. So for example, if you fail to master your finances, you will always work for someone else. That is, you may find a job, but you will never find your work. If you fail to master your relationships, you may find a significant other, but you will never feel significant because it is impossible to find significance in another. And the real biggie right now, if you fail to master your social self, you will get swept up in the tsunami of the crowd, and you will find yourself being blown to and fro by every insignificant gust. There is a whirlwind out there that is trying its best to domesticate you and I, but we cannot allow that to happen. We are too powerful, too equipped, too hopeful to allow it to disrupt our journey. 2020 is but 1 year on that journey, and it's not over yet. What you decide to do from today through the rest of the year will decide who you will be going forward. The worst thing that can happen to you in 2020 is you give up on you and you shut down just because someone who doesn't even know you ordered the society to do so. See, they can close your business, but they can't, and you can't allow them to close your heart and mind. Dear friends, I wish above all things that you prosper just as your soul prospers. You've been listening to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio with your host Tiasha. Until next week, as always, walk in health and peace.